Hello, guys. Once again, welcome to another episode from Farming in Africa. And I'm back here at the farm. And today, we are not talking about any other thing than brachyra grass and what you guys see behind me. I am not boasting, but I'm the first person and only person in Ghana that is processing hay in Ghana just to feed my livestock. And I'm going to talk to you guys about it today because I want to share this knowledge with you guys. I want to share this practice. It has saved me. And I believe again that what you guys are seeing behind me, is the solution to solving the livestock challenges and problem in Africa. So if you're thinking about going into livestock farming, if you're a chief watching me and you're thinking about solving the crisis between Fulani herdsmen and farming communities in your community, then stay tuned and listen to me. If you're a government, or even in the enforcement, and you're thinking about the solution to solving the Fulani herdsmen and conflicts in your community, that is again the solution, guys. And it has worked for me in my community. And as I said, today I want to talk to you guys all about this thing. And I'm talking to you about a grass called brachyra grass, which now I refer to it as the cementia grass. Why do I call it cementia? Because what would my livestock? I have a cattle farm, I have goat farm, I'm thinking about doing pig farm. Where would they have been if we hadn't met this grass? And this grass actually originated here in Africa, taken into the Americans and modified into a very high content nutritious plant with about 18% protein content, guys. None of the grass, napier or whatever grass, has as much as 18% protein content. And this is grass from Africa. I have imported this grass back from Brazil and Mexico back into the continent. And basically what I'm doing is growing it as hay to be able to feed my goats, my sheep, cattle, pigs, rabbits, grass cutters. The time for random roaming for livestock farming is over, guys. There is no way we can scale the livestock business if our animals continue to roam around, spoiling people's farms and causing distraction in communities. Meanwhile, we all eat meat. Meanwhile, the meat prices is rising across Africa because lots and lots of people are running away from livestock farming because we don't enjoy these challenges and distraction of people's property. So people are tending to do, only 2 goats, only 3 goats. And the problem is right now, if I say I want to buy 50 goats for my farm, I won't have any supplier to meet that demand. And that is a problem. And that is not because we don't want to do livestock farming, but because we haven't figured out the source of feed yet. And that is why I am so happy, guys, to announce to you that brachyra grass has been the savior of me. How does this work? So the brachyra grass can be planted in 2 ways. You can either plant the seed and just sow it, just like you sow maize, or even nurse it. I've done a whole lot video about this grass, and I have an actual playlist about this grass in my YouTube channel. So go ahead, click on the playlist, and you'll find brachyra grass there. I have information about however you want to manage this grass. So basically, you can plant the seed, either nurse it or do direct planting. If you do direct planting, it's going to grow just like your maize grow. You put 4 seeds in a hole and you can cover as many acres that you want. Once the grass grows, there's 2 ways. You can either have your livestock feeding directly on the grass, or you can decide to cut your grass. In my case, I do both, right? I have a portion where my goats will always go and graze on it. But before the goats even go, I will take the cattle to graze on it first. Because one thing you probably didn't know, that cows don't eat the whole grass. They only bite the top of it, right? And once they bite the top of it, then the goats will come and they will graze the bottom of it. So then if you have a grass of about 3 feet to 4 feet long, what you need to do is take your cows first, to graze the top, take the goats to maybe about 2 feet, and then the goats will do justice all the way to about 1 feet. And when you get to that 1 feet, into centimeters sort of height, what you do is you then leave it for it to regrow again. You don't need to plant new seed. It will basically regrow by itself. And in about, depending if it's in the rainy season, in about 4 to 6 weeks, it will be back again into 4 feet where you can start grazing. So I have a portion of my feed that is just for grazing. And then a portion, which is majority of it, is what I use into converting into hay. Right? And what I do, the process of that is I either use a tractor with a slasher at the back and cut it. Or I use also the walking tractor, which is also very handy, that I imported to also cut it. Once I cut that, I leave it there for about 2 to 3 days. And every morning basically turn it to make sure that it dries well. Once it dries, then I will bring it to the warehouse because I don't want the rain to touch it. I bring it to the warehouse, and then depending on what I use, if I use the walking tractor, I use then my chaff cutter, which you can find at the agro store. If you want some, contact the number below. We have all these machines that we use at the agro store, and you'll be able to get your hands on some. But I will use the chaff cutter to cut it into pieces. The reason why I cut it into pieces is because we know ruminants eat with their tongue. So when they are picking the food, it needs to be small particles so that they can pick it easily. When you give them the long grass that is cut, they end up biting, and the long of it drops. When it drops into their pee and dung, they are not going to eat it again. So what happens? You end up wasting about 1/3 of your feed, right, going on the ground. When I cut it into pieces, they are in small quantity, and therefore it's very easy for them to grab with their tongue and then just chew. So I cut it into pieces, and then once I finish cutting, I then put it into the baler. And the way the baler works is very simple. You just feed it into the baler, and it rolls it. It rolls it. It rolls it. Once it's full, it will send a signal that it's full. And then basically what we do is we will use the rope to go around it. As you guys can see from here, the rope just goes around it. And it goes around it. Once we have enough rope around it, you cut the rope, open the baler, and then voila, your bale is ready. The bales I have here is about 60 to 70 kg, right? So depending on what animal you're feeding them with, you'll be able to measure how much or what quantity of this that you really need in order to feed your animals. I have said this over and over. My goal, my vision is to be able to get this grass to every livestock farmer in Africa. I have seen the impact that this grass has done for me, and that is why I am preaching this message. And if you want this grass, contact the WhatsApp number below. My team will get in touch with you, and we'll be able to get your hands on some. If you're in East Africa as well, just let us know. We'll connect you to the right people, and you can get some of this grass. It has been a savior. This is just our first cut, right, from a quarter of the 11 acres, right? So we haven't even cut full 11 acres, and we already have about over 100 bales. These bales are not for, the livestock right now. What we're going to do is we're going to store these bales here to the dry season, where we know we are not going to be able to cut as often as the rainy season, and that's when we're going to feed it to them. Once you bale it like this, you are actually able to store it for about 3 years without it going to waste. We've always consumed ours within a year, and sometimes even less, but we've never stored it for 3 years. But according to the producers of this grass, we're able to actually store it for 3 years. This is the solution, guys. Once you're able to have this food source, then there is no limit to how many livestock you can have. And that is why we have taken the lead, and we're inviting you to join us as well, because we believe this is the only way we can scale the livestock business. I was in the US last year, went to a farm with about 70,000 cows. And I asked myself, how do I get here? And the answer to that is, do you have food for them? Because to feed 70,000 cows, all you need is food, because the same vaccination is what you're going to give to if you have one. And once you have your vaccinations and medications right, the next thing is your food. And that has been the biggest problem for us in Africa. So join us on this journey. Let's change the livestock farming in Africa. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll continue bringing you more episodes like this about livestock farming and how we can change the perception of farming in Africa. Thank you.